to my channel. My name is Chelsea and I hope that you feel at home here. I like to make videos about home decor, simple living, and just enjoying where we're at currently, whether you're in an apartment or a house or on a houseboat. I don't know, just making sure that we feel at home no matter where we are. I feel like fall is definitely here. The first day of fall is hit and it is officially time to decorate. Personally, I always wait until the first calendar day of fall. I make a whole holiday out of it and we just go ham on the decorations. And so that is what I've been waiting for all year. We all have, right? And it's finally here. Decorating for anything, especially for the seasons, can sometimes get pretty expensive, especially if you're starting from scratch and you don't really have anything. Home decor is just expensive. I think a lot of it can be really overpriced for what you get, and it can be hard to find exactly what you're looking for. So today I just want to talk about some things that could help you if you are trying to decorate for fall on a budget. I think it can be helpful to first talk about what is fall decor and why do we decorate for fall. I don't have any scientific studies. I did not do a deep dive. This is not a video essay. Decorating for any of the holidays and the seasons just comes down to nostalgia. I think people really generally like to remember what it was like when they were a child. You have all these like emotions of getting excited for like the fall parties and decorating and walking to school, and the leaves are crunching as you go and the cool crisp air. And I think nostalgia is a really powerful feeling, and that is what's steering a lot of our decor currently and always. I also think that's why we start decorating earlier and earlier, because we just want to get back to that place of where we feel a little bit safe, a little bit cozy, and we can just be at home. So I think the first question you have to ask yourself is, what about fall makes me feel nostalgic? What makes me feel cozy? When I think of autumn, what comes to mind? And I think writing them down on a list, as silly as that sounds, can be really helpful to help steer your direction of where you want to go with your decor. So for me, a lot of fall involves fall baking and the smells that go with it. Especially, I grew up in the Midwest for most of my childhood, so we did have a real fall season there. So the cooler, crisp weather, the smell of fallen leaves, frost in the morning, having to put a beanie on to go to school, all of these things evoke that cozy, nostalgic feeling for me. That also includes a lot of the colors. So the oranges and the reds and the yellows are all things that really play a part into nostalgia for me as well. I had to move. The sun was obviously setting and it was getting really intense really quick. So once you have your feelings of nostalgia, now we can dive into how to decorate for fall on a budget. Some things to stay away from that can be really tempting, especially if you are on a budget. I think a lot of the stores are really good at having the dollar spot area, and I'm just gonna be honest with you, just avoid all of that stuff there. It's really cheap, it's really plastic, and it's just not a cozy vibe. And I think you can just do better. I really think we can. I think another thing that can harsh the vibe for decor for fall is fake foliage. And I know this is kind of a hot button issue. I think putting fake leaves in your home on the surface looks like fall. However, I don't think it quite hits the nostalgia feeling of fall, which is what I think we're going for a lot of times. You don't have to buy any signs that say fall on them. If you like them, go for it. I am just a girl on the internet, obviously, so do whatever you want. But if you're on a budget and you're trying to save money, I would just totally skip all of that altogether, because kind of like the fall foliage, it says fall literally and not giving you the feeling of fall, which is what you're kind of going for with fall decor. So we got all of the sad stuff out of the way. So let's talk about what you should do when you're on a budget. One of my favorite things to do for fall, thinking about how I want to layer all of my decor. In September, I start decorating for fall. I do not put out my Halloween decor until October 1st. Put out all of my fall decor, anything that I feel like is fall. And then on top of that, I'll put my little ghosts out or my little jack-o'-lanterns out. So they're easy to take away, but easy to put on as well. And that way you can kind of have the fall season, the Thanksgiving season, and in the middle, is Halloween. So the reason why this is good for being on a budget is it makes all of your home decor last longer. So you can only have a couple little sheet ghosts because you have fall blankets that are out that kind of match the vibe and kind of lift up the little ghosts or lift up the little jack-o'-lanterns, so you don't have to spend as much money right up front to have a really cute fall home. One pretty easy way to make your home feel spooky or cozy is with candles. I love a taper candle. I just get mine from IKEA. I think they're like $5 for a box of 10. I always get a box of the taper candles from IKEA, and I always get a box of the tea lights. I think they come in a 100 pack. I don't live close to an IKEA, so I'm not going all the time, but I always make sure to grab those because they work for every single cozy season that I have, especially fall. You can make them extra drippy so they look spooky. You can make sure that you light them as soon as the sun goes down so it's cozy. Having candles in general just really amps up the vibe and brings everything together. So don't skimp out on your taper candles or even your tea lights. A really fun hack that I learned a few years ago was to shop your house. It really was groundbreaking for me as someone who didn't have a lot of money for home decor specifically. Being able to shop your home and just looking for a dark orange colors, and so maybe you can pull some books out, or maybe you have a plant that's got some different cool foliage leaves in it, or you have a painting that maybe looks a little bit more moody, and pulling all of those items together to kind of create a fall color palette is a free way to get fall decor that you already had and to bring new life into your items as well. I feel like a really easy one is to incorporate smells, really good natural smells. Baking muffins, making pumpkin pancakes, roasting pumpkin seeds. All of these things really can, they can be really nostalgic. I remember roasting pumpkin seeds at school when I was like in the first grade, so it's really nostalgic for me. Baking and having those scents in your home can really kind of fill the void of the scents with the candles. So if you have the candles lit and then you're baking the pumpkin muffins, like that right there is already a vibe, and you didn't have to buy any decor. Like ideally, like you probably already had all that stuff or bought the pumpkin mix from your grocery run or something. So like those two things together feel like fall without it having to be specifically a pumpkin on your shelf, which I love. One of my favorite things to do for fall, this one is not free, but it is definitely a cheaper option. I love to find a tea that will remind me of the season. So my favorite tea for fall is like this vanilla spice flavored tea, and I only buy it in the fall, and I only drink it in the fall. And so on the first day of autumn, I will make that cup of tea, and the smell and the taste of it, it just brings me back to this place of coziness and warmth. And tea can always get really expensive. I just get mine from the store, from like the grocery store. I think it's like $4 a box, and it comes with like 20 tea bags, and that like will last you, if you do one a day, that'll last you a whole month, which like really just create this sensory experience of fall for way cheaper than buying, a wreath or something. Another free option that I love is I put blankets on every single surface of my home. And of course, this depends on how many blankets you have already. I'm not saying, this is not permission to just go out and buy 50 blankets because you have 50 surfaces. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm sure you have a couple blankets lying around, and maybe they're in a basket somewhere. Maybe they're like tucked under your bed somewhere. Pull them out, lay some across a bed, lay some across a chair, maybe a couch. And that way you always have a layer to pull from, no matter where you are, whether you're in bed just being cozy, or if you're gonna watch a movie, you always have a layer you can just pull. Putting blankets in places where you wanna sit and be cozy makes it cozy. So it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's kind of how I like to look at it. Added bonus, when you have people over, they never have to ask you for a blanket, and the amount of times that I've seen people pull a blanket and use it, oh my gosh, it just warms my heart just to see people using my blankets because they're actually out to be used. And it makes me so happy to see people at home enough to pull a blanket like that. Just a side note, just to add to the warm fuzzies. And finally, my last tip is to put on music or a movie that reminds you of fall. For me, the classic Charlie Brown Halloween and Thanksgiving episodes are forever cherished in my heart. I have them on DVD, literal DVD, and we watch them every single year. And when I watch them, I just get so giddy and so excited. The aesthetic is immaculate, the animation is perfect, it never gets old. I just love it so much, and the music is just so timeless and great. Another option, I've seen a lot of like YouTube channels make like cozy live stream lo-fi type videos, and I love those too, so I'll put those on the background as well sometimes just to like have a nice cozy vibe. And that's just a free option that makes your home feel like fall without having to spend any money. For me, decorating is not just about the visual appeal and like how can I make it look like fall. It just kind of goes a little bit deeper than that. I talked about earlier about the nostalgia. It's more of a feeling for me, and feelings are evoked by sight, smell, sound, texture, and all of those things can really play a part in decorating, especially for the seasons. And so as you're thinking about decorating and you don't have the money to buy the visual things for your home, just sit down and maybe think of like the 5 senses and write down things that go with each one. So all of these things together cumulatively make a fall experience and make your home feel cozy and make it feel decorated without spending a lot of money and without going down a rabbit hole of having to have a bunch of leaves everywhere or a bunch of fake pumpkins everywhere. Which, like I said, no hate to the fake pumpkin ladies. Like, you do you. I totally get it. Don't listen to me. But I'm just saying, there's other options that we can do that maybe don't cost as much money and maybe can evoke more of the cozy emotions of fall. Whew, I don't know, what do y'all think? I feel like that was like kind of a spicy video. I feel like people get really attached to their fall decor, so I totally understand if you have differing opinions. If you have differing opinions, I'd love to hear them down below. Is there anything that you like totally absolutely have to have? Do y'all agree? Do you disagree? What are some fall nostalgic things for you? I would love to know what makes you think of fall. Make sure you comment those down below and make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.